Gloria, and this is my third project, Social Influence, Ownership, and Creative Freedom project. So my gamification project overview is that I'm hoping to have at least 50% of reading and or viewing materials completed by Wednesday, the middle of the week, and have my assignment started by Tuesday and at least 90% completed by Friday. That way I'm better caught up on my schoolwork, something that I've been having an issue with recently. So, on the topic of social influence, there's a couple of different ways that you can gamify something. You can do via popularity. It's kind of a bandwagon-esque type of thing where all the cool kids are doing it. It shows mass appeal, or a certain demographic doing it, which gives kind of more of a peer pressure to do it as well. There's also One of Us, and that kind of gives a sense of belonging to others. So, for example, if you'd like join a guild or a certain play group, you become one of them, and it gives the player kind of a sense of belonging. Also, there's social norms. It's like stating this is how everyone is doing it. And to me, this kind of ties back into popularity, that kind of bandwagon-esque, everyone is doing it, therefore you should as well. And conformity and social accuracy, that's, to me, what I figured what it was is I help you and you'll help me, kind of a symbiotic relationship where, say you lend someone $50 and in return they get to something back, and then now you've got kind of a symbiotic relationship there. And ego boost, which is what I figured like a kind of an ego boost for public recognition of voluntary work, something that normally you wouldn't get recognized for, but since it is voluntary work, but someone recognizes it and it kind of gives a moral boost into that. And ways I could implement social influence into my goal is to use peer pressure into completing assignments on time, create like an accountability study group where I put in either some classmates of mine or even other kids within the college demographic together into a Discord server or some kind of group chat so that we all keep ourselves accountable and we check in and make sure everyone's doing their own homework. Or alternatively, using my anxiety to complete these assignments on time because I'm pretty sure that's what everyone else is doing and I don't want to be seen as an outsider. Therefore, using that kind of like peer pressure, bandwagon-y kind of thing. Another topic is ownership. There's, hey, that's mine. It's kind of a defensiveness over something that's yours, whether or not you want it. And say someone gave you like a rock and you didn't really want that rock, but now you have that rock and that's yours, and someone else comes and tries to take it, and even though you don't want that rock, that's your rock and someone else is trying to take it. So you can't let them take your rock, that's yours. And then there's endowment effect, which what I figured it's like sentimentality makes objects more valuable to you. So if you've had like a PS2 and you've had it for a couple of years, you've gotten attached to it. You're not willing to let go of it or sell it at a regular price because, man, you've got memories with that. You don't want to give it up for like a regular PS2 price. So you give it a little more higher price range because that sentimentality makes it valuable to you. Which is similar to Made It Myself, where sentimental value comes from the fact that you made that object or item. Then there's Gotta Catch 'Em All, which to me it's kind of similar to the achievements gamification style, where you have a number of collectible items and it makes you more invested in getting the next couple, and that's especially if you are really close to completing that set. Ways I could implement ownership into my own goals is to make a really nice plan that I put a lot of time and effort into, and then that makes it kind of something I want to keep using, and because I made it, I put my hard work into that, so I'm going to keep reusing it. Or using kind of like a point system or award system for like every assignment that I finish, I get a decent grade on, I award myself with a collectible item, or something like I allow myself to purchase a collectible item. Could be something like Funko Pops. Right now I'm actually collecting some Overwatch figurines, so that could be a good incentive. The downside though is Pops are not that cheap. There's also creative freedom, freedom of choice, or the illusion of giving freedom of choice. And there's want and whatever goes. That's, to me, I see that as kind of like taking what the majority of people want in a game and implementing it into the game in order for them to consider it like freedom of choice. Like, I do believe the example given in the reading material was Grand Theft Auto. You can't do everything in the game, anything you want in the game, but you can do a whole lot more than regularly scripted narrative driven games. And then there's by any means necessary, which is getting to the objective by any means. I actually haven't played the Hitman series, but I did watch a playthrough of it, and from what I saw there, it's pretty much as long as you take out the target, you've completed the objective and it lets you go through, and you have multiple ways of being able to do that. And meaningful choices, there is where choices affect the outcome in a more meaningful manner. What I think of is kind of like Undertale. Well, there's still some restriction within Undertale, but for the most part, whether or not you decide to go the genocidal route or the pacifist route or a mixture of the both, you can get several different endings. And there's the illusion of choice, where the choice seems to affect the outcome, but it doesn't really, where a game might have separate dialogue paths, and it seems like the choice, depending on which one you choose, seems like it's going to have a very big effect in the game later on. But if you go back through, replay it, and choose the other choice that you didn't choose the first time around, you find out it didn't really change anything in the game. And so my conclusion is, there's quite a bit of different ways I can implement new gamification into my goals. I unfortunately wasn't really able to find a way to fit creative freedom into my current goals of what I'm trying to do. And social anxiety, I found, was probably the best one to be able to get my work on time, because that's honestly been what's keeping me afloat all throughout college. So probably not the healthiest thing. I'm working on that, but it's been working so far. And besides, creating a social group kind of feels like it wouldn't work too well, especially with the fast-paced classes that I am taking. 5 weeks is actually not a whole lot of time to be able to create a study group for each specific class, or even manage a Discord server. And I found that getting attached to my plan would probably be the best course of action, because that would lead to me actually sticking with the plan and following through with it, because hey, that's my plan, I made that. Thank you for listening in.